5 keys to victory. Welcome back to Talking Giants. My name is Justin Pennick, and I am standing my ground. We're still going to do a 5 keys to victory video. I was about to do 5 keys to survival if Daniel Jones wasn't going to play, but he's going to play, and that has me excited. And kind of like a mark on his resume so far. There's been a lot of certain marks on his resume. 2019, it was obviously the turnovers. 2020, lack of touchdown passes, lack of production, and then obviously, wins. Those have been some marks on his resume, but also not playing a full 16-game slate or 14 games. He missed 2 games in 2019. He missed the first 2 because Eli Manning was still the starter. But I would like Daniel Jones to go out there and start 16 games. Obviously, leaving that Dallas game, that didn't look like we were going to win that game anyway. But if Jones can still be put in a position to still play 16 games this year, be medically cleared, it's a concussion, it's not an ankle injury where he's hobbling and he's limping, he still should be able to go and rock and roll. And the outside independent medical evaluators say he's good to go with the concussion stuff. He's good to go. Let's rock and roll. Daniel Jones gives us the best chance to win. 5 keys to victory. First key to victory, it is going to be against the Rams, 1 p.m., Sunday, MetLife Stadium. Balance between Sterling Shepard and Kadarius Toney. So this is pretty much going to be the first time where Toney is going to be featured in the offense, and Sterling Shepard is going to also be featured in the offense too. Darius Slayton's also going to be coming back. John Ross is here. Kenny Golladay is most likely going to be out. He hasn't practiced all week. Saquon Barkley will be out too. So there you go. I think that's the injury updates on offense. We'll get to an important left tackle position soon in our next key. But Kadarius Toney has been taking a lot of his snaps at the slot. Sterling Shepard has been taking a lot of his snaps at the slot. So what is that balance going to look like? I know against Washington, week 2, Kadarius Toney took 19 snaps. He took 2 in the slot, 17 outside, and that's when Shepard was here. That was his last fully healthy game that he had against Washington. So will that change? Now, obviously, Toney's role in the offense has dramatically changed since that Washington game and since that Atlanta game where he's had 2 games in a row where he's kind of carried the offense to some good explosive play stuff, broken tackle, yards after the catch, etc., etc. So now that Shepard's back, number 1, and number 2, now that Toney is the biggest threat on this Giants offense, he may be followed by Jalen Ramsey. If Toney's going to be in the slot, that's where Jalen Ramsey's been primarily lining up this year, following guys in the slot. What is that going to look like? And what is this offense going to look like? I'm excited to see how they can mix and match because Shepard is this possession wide receiver. He's a security blanket for Daniel Jones. Kadarius Toney has also been making his money in the intermediate part of the field, but he creates the explosive plays with the broken tackles, yards after the catch, the ability for him to just run with the ball in his hands. That's been the difference between him and Shepard, where that's a very good difference. We want that out of Kadarius Toney. Key to victory number 2, get the ball out of your hands quick. Get the ball out of your hands quick. Brandon Staley, they run that. Brandon Staley, he coaches the Chargers. The Rams run this too high system. They run it at the highest rate in the National Football League. So in a game where you're facing Leonard Floyd, in a game where you're facing Aaron Donald, in a game where most likely I don't think Andrew Thomas is going to be out there, they have been running Matt Parrott out at left tackle, Nate Solder at right tackle. But Andrew Thomas still isn't moving well, according to some beat reporters. Pat Leonard tweeted that out today on Friday. I'm recording this on Friday, spoiler alert. So he tweeted out on Friday that it wasn't moving too well. So I'm glad the Giants are going to be running Matt Parrott out there at left tackle because that hopefully means when Andrew Thomas does come back that he will be the right tackle. So even if Andrew Thomas misses another week, it's fine. It's not ideal because he's been so good and that's going to hurt Jones. But Matt Parrott had a decent game at right tackle last week, and Nate Solder's just really bad. Nate Solder's just really, really bad. So get the ball out of your hands quick if you're Daniel Jones. He was getting really thrown around last week, rolling out to his right, getting hit outside the pocket. I want Daniel Jones to make it out of this game. So get the ball out of your hands quick, and odds are deep explosive plays at 20-plus yards throwing the ball down the field, that may not be there since they run the too high system. So key to victory number 3, Cooper Kupp. He's been one of the league's kind of best receivers and also best slot wide receivers in the National Football League so far this year. Him and Matt Stafford have a really good connection going. So how are the Giants going to match up against that? Rodarius Williams, who was the team's kind of starting slot corner for a couple weeks before he just tore his ACL last week. So what are they going to do? How are they going to respond to Cooper Kupp, a really good slot wide receiver, in the slot? Last week, since Michael Gallup was out for the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb was lining up on the outside. So it made sense to have Adoree Jackson and James Bradbury on CeeDee Lamb. So with this, with the biggest threat in the slot this week, how are the Giants going to respond to that? Are we going to see a mixture of Love, Ryan, McKinney at the slot corner? Are we going to see Adoree Jackson kind of follow Cooper Kupp to the slot? Which that's honestly what I'm hoping happens, because I think Adoree Jackson is like the quickest, most agile of our cornerbacks. So I'm going to be interested to see how we kind of do it. And also what cornerback, since Rodarius Williams is now down, what cornerback is going to be like called up? Since Josh Jackson and Sam Beal, they've been healthy scratches so far this year. What cornerback is going to be called up? I think to maybe take his spot, unless they just want to continue using safeties as like that extra corner, since Ryan and Love have experience kind of doing so. Key to victory number 4. There's playmakers on this defense. There is just flat out, there's playmakers on this defense. We're paying a lot of these guys on defense to be playmakers. Adoree Jackson, Logan Ryan, James Bradbury, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence has the first-round label. Lorenzo Carter's in a contract year. There's more playmakers on this defense than there are on offense, and nobody's been making plays. Like, nobody. Like, I know people like to criticize Leonard Williams because of the contract and blah, 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 but Logan Ryan's had interceptions in his hands. James Bradbury has had interceptions in his hands. Adoree Jackson has had interceptions in his hands. Guys have been missing tackles. Leonard Williams and guys have had sacks in their hands so far this year. So Carl Banks had a line in our Twitter spaces the other night. Play like you pay. Play like you pay. I kind of like that line, and that's what this Giants defense has to do in terms of their playmakers. Key to victory number 5. Short one, sweet for the fans. I'm going to be there on Sunday with my buddy Nicky Snacks. Enjoy celebrating 10 years of Super Bowl 46, because odds are, Giants aren't going to win this game, odds are. I'm calling it 5 keys to victory because there is a path to victory, of course, when you have Daniel Jones, and that's credit to him that he's playing well this year, but just enjoy halftime. Enjoy halftime. Enjoy celebrating Super Bowl 46. I'm sure there's going to be videos kind of throughout the game if you're going to be at the game, celebrating that year and celebrating that Super Bowl. So enjoy it. Cheer for your players. If they're not going to bring out John Mara at halftime, so don't boo anything. I'm just going to enjoy it, celebrate, remember good times and winning football. So that's 5 keys to victory. We will see you next week. Hang in there. It'll get better. Peace. Go Blue.